Good evening, everyone. I don't know. My glasses are doing something a little awful right now. But look, I'm not going to let that hinder me in giving you a big smile because I'm really excited about tonight's Soul Talk Conversations That Heal. We've had a wonderful organic moment this summer as we have been featuring conversations that are related to Pride. We did a special event in June that where we had an awesome conversation about by erasure and by invisibility. Then we came back a couple of weeks ago and in preparation for the Studio 13 reunion featuring the legendary Tommy Ross and Miss Sophia McIntosh and Grover Fortenberry and Tony Powell, we did a Studio 13 event on Monday, July 11th, that was leading up to the Studio 13 reunion event that took place on Wednesday, July 13th, of course. And now, tonight, I wanted to bring some wonderful people in onto the panel this evening, the Soul Talk panel, to talk about a unique and wonderful event that is coming up this weekend, beginning Thursday night. It's called Heavy Hitters Pride. Heavy Hitters is a pride event that is specifically launched, birthed, envisioned for the urban man of size and his admirers. So I'm excited about tonight's conversation. I'm excited about the partnership that AFH has developed with Heavy Hitters Pride over the years. I'm excited that we are a sponsor. I'm excited that over the last couple of weeks and up through this week, AFH will be providing free testing for HIV and other STIs for passes for the Heavy Hitters Pride weekend. And we'll talk more about that as we go. And then, of course, we'll be out this weekend providing free and confidential HIV testing. And we'll also be giving individuals an opportunity to schedule an appointment for prep care at HIV. So more on that to come. Wanted to get that out of the way, and I'll weave it back into the rest of the conversation tonight. But first up, I want to introduce one of the founders of Heavy Hitters Pride, who is also a staff member at AFH, Mr. Javon Davenport. Come out, Javon.
Good evening, Jeffrey. How are you?
Hey, I am well. I am well. You are, first of all, the frames are killing me. I love it.
Thank
I love
you.
it. Don't leave them on your desk. Uh,
Thank you. Thank you.
they are wonderful. So, welcome, Javon.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for giving me the opportunity to create a panel for you and your team because you have been very, very clear all throughout the years that I've had conversations with you about heavy hitters is that this organization, this event exists because of teamwork. So I
Yes.
really appreciate you as a leader acknowledging that. Now I'm going to bring out the people you said you wanted
Yes.
to be on this panel with you tonight. And after I get everybody out, we'll talk a little bit about why you all are part of this wonderful movement for the urban man of size. So, first off, I want to introduce the person that is referred to as the first lady of Heavy Hitters Pride, Miss DeRay Saunders. Come out, DeRay.
Hello, hello, hello.
How
Hi.
are you? All right. Come on out, executive board member, Mr. Timothy LeBlanc.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Timothy. Welcome. Look, I'm going to say it. Welcome to the table. All right, the virtual table. And then finally, last but certainly not least, clothing designer for the man of size out of Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. Dylan Wills. Come on out, Dylan. We got him. I don't see his face. But look, we're gonna keep on talking. He'll show up eventually. Javon, would you
Yes.
start us out this evening by just talking about the
It's
concept
blacked me out.
of heavy hitters? Oh, somebody blacked you out? Okay. So our producer, the legendary Dexter Williams, is gonna work on that. But in the meantime, I want you to talk about, Javon, just where the vision and the concept of Heavy Hitters Pride came from.
Most definitely. So, the vision of Heavy Hitters, let me start with the inception of the organization itself. Began with the conversation with I tell this story often, with the center that you were over, which was for St. Hope Foundation, probably Fusion Center, '08, around that time. And I've always been a huge supporter and believed in great conversation. And it just began with looking around the room and not seeing anyone who looked like me. Um, so what I did was ask the question, and that was again like in '08, I believe. I moved here in '04, so I think it was like maybe '04. I may be wrong, but it was just like, hey, if we created, is that my doorbell? If we created a conversation or a space for bigger guys and those that like us, and I got that information. And one day I was cleaning up and I came across and I was like, wow, I need to really move forward with this. Um, so that was the idea of it. I hope I'm not blanking in and out. But
We hear
so
your
Heavy Hitters was
voice.
created
We
with
hear
the
your voice, Javon, but every now and then your picture is freezing, your video is freezing, but we hear your voice.
I am breaking up.
Yeah, but we hear your voice. We're not losing what you're saying.
Okay, as long as you can hear the story, that's the most important part. So with the idea of Heavy Hitters, it was created again to create safe and empowering spaces for the urban man of size, ally, and admirer. So my brother, Terry, who is also an employee of AFH, we had the opportunity to start attending what were called Big Boy Prides or Big Boy events. We went to Orlando in 2014 and we got this, and I'm going to be very frank, as you know, Jeffrey, I am. We went to Orlando in 2014 and we got to see how it's done well. And we went to Atlanta in 2015 and we got to see how it was not done so well. But that just means there were areas of opportunity. Well, in the duration that I was hosting these conversations at M Society through the help of Ian Haddock and Dwayne Williams and the staff there that allowed us to come into that space to create these safe spaces again to have these conversations. And one of the attendees was Jewel Berryman. And Jewel approached me and he said, hey, I see that you and Terry are going to these events. Have you thought about having one here in Houston? And I have to admit, I was not on board at first because in college, I had done party promotions with my fraternity. I had done events promotion with my brother, Kiefer Humphrey. And I knew what it took in order to do something successful. And I knew what it took in order to not be successful at doing the event. So I was not on board. And it took Jewel a couple of times to convince me. And from then there, he and I created Heavy Hitters Pride. That's why I'm always very intentional of being a person who recognizes the person who approached me about it. And the fact that it took a pretty good team in order to bring it to fruition. At that time, we actually had 7 people. But through the process, people are very honest about what they can commit to or that they have other endeavors. So we have to respect and appreciate that. So that's pretty much how Heavy Hitters started. And here we are, our 8th year, but our 7th event due to COVID-19. So that's pretty much how everything got started. And I just have to be honest, year 1, Jewel and I were looking over the event. I'm like, man, can you believe this just started from a conversation, like us meeting and having a group, looking at all of what had come into the moment. So yeah, it's a labor of love. But we do love the work that we do. So there we go.
Excellent. So Timothy, you were one of the first Heavy Hitters ambassadors. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That is correct. So tell me, what was that like, to be an ambassador for the brand?
Oh wow. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was already like I guess you could say, had made a name or whatever for myself. And then Javon had got with me and he was like, "Hey, is it okay if I use one of your pictures? I'm gonna use one of your pictures for an event." And I said, "Okay." And I saw myself on a flyer, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is what he was talking about." Um, it added to the popularity, um, if you will, and it just grew from there. I was very, very honored, I guess you could say, to be one of the faces.
Excellent, excellent. So how many other ambassadors were working along with you during that first year?
There were two other gentlemen, Melvin and Mon. We actually called ourselves MTM or something like that. I believe it was Devon. Was it MTM or
Mhm.
TMM or something like that? And those other two gentlemen, we created a brotherhood like no other. It for Jules and Javon to bring three different guys from three different walks of life, and for us to create a bond the way that we did was amazing. It was very amazing.
So tell me, what does a Heavy Hitters Pride ambassador do?
So then our
'Cause
first
I
year,
might want to apply.
so our first year, it was a lot of promotion for us. Going different places, doing videos, commercials, um, just being out, making our faces known, wearing heavy hitter gear. For a while, I was known, "Oh, you're the heavy hitter guy," and still sometimes, if I'm out and about, I still get called, "Oh, you're the heavy hitter guy." Um, it was very much. It was a lot of work. Well, the beginning it was fun. It wasn't work at first. Um, it was more so fun, just being seen, being out, having people come up to us. There were actually people, believe it or not, there are people who wanted to, um, like we were celebrities, like we were really celebrities that wanted our autographs and things like that. And I was just like, what? Really? Like, are you serious? But yeah, it was fun. It was fun, very much fun.
Excellent, excellent. So I'm gonna pivot back to Javon. So Javon, now that you're 8 years into this, how many ambassadors do you have, and what is the role that the ambassador plays?
Oh wow, that's a good question. I had to switch out. I don't know what my iPad was doing, so now I'm on my laptop. So hopefully you can hear me well. Oh, the number of ambassador Jeffrey. That is a very good question. Um, so let me define what the role of an ambassador is. So
Thank
our
you.
ambassador, because we use the word model, but what we found out is that in being an ambassador, some of them were more interested in just being a face of and being a representative of, but actually bonding and building the brotherhood that we have now. So we have quite a few people that have been the face of through materials, but we have quite a few that stuck around. Some of them were very intentional when we approached them. Hey, this is what we're having. We would like you to be a part of because you fit the demographic, and they're very intentional. Like, I would love to, but I see what y'all got going, but I can't really commit to the brotherhood because blah 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 blah. So let's see, over the years, maybe 20 plus,
Oh
maybe
wow,
20 plus,
excellent.
and out of that, brotherhood has been developed. Others are still really supportive, but again, they were intentional on indicating, "Hey, I would love to be a part. I don't mind supporting," but it's probably where that's going to end, start and stop. So,
Okay, okay. So Ms. DeRay, tell us, how is
here
it
they're getting beat.
you have become the first lady of Heavy Hitters Pride? What's your history with HHP?
Okay, so because I am a lover of men of size, I'll date a slim man, but My preference will always be a man with meat on his bones. I Javon and I have a history due to me in pageantry and his supporting of the art form. And so he saw me at Big Boy Pride, which is my first year, and he was like, "Auntie, we having a Pride event in Houston, and we'd love to have you entertain." He was like, "We don't have a lot of money, but we would love to have you come." And I thought, well, I'm enjoying this one, so let me come. And I was the only trans woman really in the space of all these men. And because it was smaller, it was more personal, more intimate. And so as a result, a different bond of friendships were formed. And so the following year, when they got ready to have it, Auntie, can you come back? And through that, I came in and started volunteering to help out wherever is needed, like, putting bags together, pulling out chairs, doing whatever. Because though I was the hired entertainment, it was personal for me because of Javon and he and I relationship. And through him, other relationships formed. And then I came back the next year and they were like, I was deemed the first lady. And though I'm a public person, I'm very shy. And I realized as a first lady, okay, you got to go meet and greet the folks and you got to make them feel welcome and all that sort of thing. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Because normally as an entertainer, you're on stage, they come to see you. You may take pictures or whatever, but your interaction is limited. But this is more up close and personal. So it wasn't about just the entertainment. I realized that there was a true, genuine bonding, and it wasn't commercialized as some prides are. Not the ones that I've been to, but as I've seen different prides, some are more commercialized, and this was very intentional in their support of plus size men, and again, their admirers. Mm-hmm. And so 4 or 5 years in, here I am, the first lady.
The first lady. All right, the first lady, Madam Doré Saunders. Thank you so much. Look, this designer here, who we found out after I posted the flyer on Facebook that you have done some designing for my cousin in Atlanta. So hey, cousin.
Right.
Yeah. So Dylan,
yes,
tell us how you became a part of the Heavy Hitters journey.
Wow. Well, as Javon mentioned, I met him at another Pride event for men of size that's near and dear to my heart, Big Boy Pride. I started out with them kind of early on and went through, different years and shows and everything like that. When I met Javon, it was like an instant bond. He was a great guy, sweetheart, loved the way he dressed. And so it was like a admiration for each other's fashion sense and style. The pandemic year was my first year deemed to come, and the theme was military. But then the pandemic hit and I didn't come. So when the world opened back up, I came, I did my first show, Heavy Hitters, the staff, such a family bond. Like my first time, I knew no one there but Javon, basically. And the ambassadors, the staff, everybody welcomed me with open arms. And when I did the first fashion show, basically, they had me out talking to me about, how I got started designing clothes and things like that. And I told them that the fashions will be on sale after the show. But what I didn't know is backstage, the models were already ready to purchase the pieces that they were wearing in the show. Mm-hmm. And so by the time the show was over, people was asking me about the pieces and they were sold. And they asked me back literally at that show to come back for the next year. And here I am, year 2, ready to kill it again.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So that's what I wanted to ask you. So the models that you used to model your clothes in year 1, were those local models?
Local, definitely. A couple, actually, my best friend, Robert Hunter, my twin, him and Javon got together, and I wasn't really scared, I would say, but you know how the gays can be about fashion, and people claim me that they're a designer. I mean, I know I am one, but they didn't know me. So all they heard was, oh, he did this event. He's supposed to be able to make clothes, blah, blah, blah. And so I got there and I was like, okay, I know Javon, but Javon is busy doing his thing. So I was like on my own, so to speak. But like I said, my best friend Twin came, another buddy of mine, Marvin, came. They both modeled in the show. And Tracy came, which is a friend of Cianti's as well. He came from Dallas. And so I felt my little team there. But let me tell you something. This year, I'm bringing the dream team down. So half the models will be my boys, my brothers, and the other half will be guys who modeled last year and guys who are interested in modeling. So I got something for everybody. So it's no problem. Like this year is my first year was kind of like, okay, I know I got it, but this year is like, oh, I'm stepping on next this year. So
we're going to talk about what's going to happen this weekend, but since we're talking about the fashion show, when is the fashion show? What time is it? Where is it? Javon, you want to
Good question. Good question. So the fashion show will be Sunday, July 31st at our annual all-white drag brunch, where we'll have performances by our First Lady Doray Saunders and Chanel Nicole, a Houston icon, actually a national icon, a former Miss Black Universe, and first runner-up to the Miss Gay USA Classic this past April. And that's the Super Sunday show, as you can see right there. But it'll be at the Hilton Houston West Chase between noon and 3 p.m. So the show, it starts with the drag show. Then we'll do a couple of recognition award for recognition, and then the fashion show will close out the brunch. So again, that's Sunday, July 31st at the Hilton Houston West Chase in the Omni Ballroom. So we are excited. God is good. Over the years of being, this is our 5th year at the Hilton West Chase, and we were at the Hilton Galleria 2 years prior to that. So with working with them and it being a great collaboration between the Hilton and Heavy Hitters, we have the entire ballroom, so there is tons of space this year. So it's going to be an amazing show, an amazing event, and that's where it is.
That's great. So Dexter, can you go back to the all white brunch flyer? Because I want to ask a question. The Plaid Fashion Show created by Dylan Wills. So Plaid is an acronym for something. Can you talk about what that's an acronym for?
yes, well, Plaid. I used to be formerly Styles by Dylan was my name for my designs, but I just wanted to do something different. I went in a whole different direction. So now Plaid is premium luxury accentuated in design. So I felt like it reached a broader audience. And because I do different things under the umbrella of design, I wanted something to represent that. So that's what Plaid stands for.
Now, do you design for any size body, or do you have a specific realm around the man of size?
Well, so going back a little bit, a lot of people think I got my start at Big Boy Pride, but that's actually not true. Big Boy Pride gave me a platform to show my things to men of size, but actually the first person of size that I sold for was like years and years prior to that. I had an uncle who lived in Columbus, Ohio, and he lived around the corner from OSU. So I went looking for a barber, and the guy that cut my hair was a larger guy, and he always would compliment me on my clothes. And so I said, every time I come in here, you always ask me like, oh, but they don't make that in my size. They don't make that size. I said, man, I told you I make my own clothes. I can make something for you. And he didn't believe it. He was like, man, I can't wear it. I said, man, just trust me. So basically, long story short, I started sewing for him. When I would come see my uncle in Columbus, I would bring him something. Here, wear this to work today. Wear this to work today. And it literally blew up because then like he had a lot of guys, a lot of friends who wanted, and when I say like men of size, necessarily doesn't mean like plus size, but plus size in different dimensions. Because once again, we're at, OSU, we're on campus. So a lot of the football players, a lot of the fraternities, they had bigger guys, a bigger stature, like, tall, with real small waist or big chest and small arms and all that. So I started sewing stuff from some of his buddies. And that's really how I started like, this might be something. And it kind of went for there. But basically doing fashion shows for years, I would always like pick the guys. I kind of would see a guy at a model car, and I can tell he was like, I don't know if he's gonna pick me. And I specifically went out to pick a few of those guys to make them feel included, and also like, I got you. I make my clothes. I can make something for you. And once they trusted me with that, it kind of just took off.
Excellent. Look, let me ask this question because, and I think this is really a necessary question to ask because we're talking about our Black queer community, our Black LGBTQ community, particularly our Black gay male community. When we talk about the man of size, a lot of times what we see in promotions for anything, before we even get into our own community, we don't see the man of size represented, or even the woman of size, regardless of gender or orientation. What are the conversations like? Because I do know y'all do. You don't just do parties and fashion shows. You do some really strong and necessary sessions, some conversations that are what I call this soul talk, is soul work. So what are the conversations that you all have had or maybe will have this weekend that centers around some of the stigma around being overweight or deemed overweight? What's that been like, and what's the experience that many have shared growing up? As you know, I was a Sears Husky growing up. I was a Sears Husky, crazy boy. So what was that like for men who come into this space and have these conversations?
That's a good question, Tim. You wanna take a stab before I go?
Sure. Being a guy who's been on both sides of, I guess, the size spectrum. Back then, a lot of people used to be like, no fats, no femmes, and all of this other kind of stuff. I believe it was year 4, we had an event, and one of our former ambassadors came up to Jewel, Javon, and myself and said that the conversation that we had saved his life. It really brought us to tears because when we first started these conversations, of course it's about making other guys who are of size feel good, but we never thought that we would actually hit home with that. And when he came to us and told us that, it was a feeling, an overwhelming feeling that I will forever talk about, even to this day. Those conversations, I found out then that those conversations are needed, are important, because you never know what a person is going through, or even, you never know what they're dealing with. You never know what's going on. It has to happen. We cannot just sit in the background, because we scared of our size, or we scared of our weight, or no more of that. You know what I'm saying? No more of sitting in the background. It's time to step up.
Good. Let me also add to that, Jeffrey. You bringing that up, that really did. It takes it back to the idea of why Heavy Hitters and the branch of Heavy Hitters Pride was created, which again was to create spaces for men of size to be able to converse about like-minded things. Over the past years, we've had amazing conversations about love not hurting, pay like you weigh,
Every pound
a
has a
myriad
story.
of things, right? and I'm really excited, more or less, because we didn't do the sessions last year. But let me also say this: I'm also the founder and executive director of the HH movement, formerly known as Heavy Hitters Inc., which is now a recognized 501c3 nonprofit. So it is important with having that responsibility and that privilege to reintroduce. Thank you, to reintroduce the summit sessions, because it is important to have these. And I titled it. I titled the summit this year "Heavy Conversations," because it is time to have these heavy conversations. Our first session will be Stigma Stomp. And that is something I really want to work on for 2023. I am, and Tim and most of the team know, I'm very intentional on things when I introduce them, because I really want Stigma Stomp to be something that can grow in Houston, where other agencies can join in the efforts of it, because stigma is so overwhelming. And of course, this is centered around men of size, but it encompasses a lot of things about mental health, about self-expression, about gender identity. But individuals feel that stigma can keep them from being able to freely express themselves. So the first session will be Stigma Stop. And then the second session this weekend is going to be Talk Your Shit, which is going to be facilitated by our overall underwriter for Saturday, Impulse Group Houston. And it's a fishbowl effect. You drop a topic in the bowl, and we're just going to chat, and we're going to talk out SHIT.
It's okay.
Third is going to be the royal treatment, because our weekend is titled the Royal Weekend because we're celebrating the royalty in each of us. So we're going to talk about mental, physical, and sexual health in that third session. And in that moment, we're also going to have a doctor come from the Houston Health Department who's going to talk about this newest. And I was having a conversation. I don't want to quite title it an epidemic or a pandemic, but it's interesting. We're going to have a monkeypox discussion in that session as well, because we're still battling COVID. And we're going to do all the precautionary things in order to educate and speak upon COVID the weekend. But we also want to be sure that we bring apart discussing what monkeypox looks like, what preventative measures look like, what being cautious, because Heavy Hitters Pride is a meeting of individuals, and we understand that adults will be adulting throughout the weekend. So we just want to better prepare them to be adulting throughout the weekend, and to potentially what to look for and what they can do to protect themselves while at Pride. Because one thing we absolutely don't want, but potentially can't stop, is someone leaving our event and something could have happened with COVID or monkeypox or anything, STIs, because we'll also be having our heavy hitter kits that are in our registered VIPs. You'll see it. I think you're gonna like it. It's a little heavy hitter kit, so you can do your due. You know, adults will be adulting, so we're gonna help you be adults safely.
So I want to thank you for that, for bringing it up, because I've been pondering. I'm like, well, we don't have to talk a little bit about monkeypox tonight, and what the World Health Organization has called now a health emergency across the world. And I was at a news conference today that Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee did, and one of the things that I appreciated about her in her presentation today is that she kept saying this is a human issue. We're not going to make this about a particular community or a particular gender or a group of persons of certain sexual orientation. However, we do have to look at the current data. And so the current data shows us that the majority of the individuals who have been diagnosed with monkeypox are men who have sex with men. And so we have to own that. We have to own that in a way that it doesn't stigmatize us. But then we also have to, other persons who are outside of the men who have sex with men community have to understand that it's human. And so just because you're not a gay or bisexual male doesn't mean you can't contract monkeypox. So don't let your guard down. So I really applaud you all for having the conversation. Looking forward to it. Who's going to be presenting on it?
So I don't have the provider's name, but I spoke with Marlene, the bureau chief for the Bureau of HIV, STD, and viral hepatitis, as you and I are both aware, and they are going to be bringing over a specialist. I'm supposed to get the direct name, but it's one of the providers over there in the health department.
Excellent, excellent. That's exciting because in reality, that's what an organization like this is supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be empowering and educating our community on the things that help us to get healthy and stay healthy. And
Great.
and you know, COVID is getting pushed out of the way by the monkeypox. So you gotta alter your event to bring in this very necessary information to talk
Indeed.
about prevention, to talk about when you can receive the vaccine, to talk about what it means that in Houston we've recently received 5,000 doses of the vaccine, but that really means that's only for 2,500 people because the vaccination, it's two vaccines. And you're not fully inoculated until 2 weeks after the second vaccine. So all of that's kind of hard to push out in a public service announcement or in a quick news soundbite. So I am so very excited that you all are having this conversation. And I know that as an organization, AFH, the work that we'll be doing with you all this weekend, that we will have fact sheets for monkeypox for individuals that attend. And I know I put some stuff out on Facebook today, and I had a couple of questions, both publicly and privately, about it. And interesting questions. You know, if I put a condom on, no, man, no, sir, that won't do it. We talking about skin to skin contact. So, you know, that's not something that a condom is going to address. But great question, because it does prevent the transmission of HIV and other STIs. So what I heard when you were talking about grown folks being grown folks is you have created a sex positive environment, and I appreciate you for that. So I want to ask Dylan. So Dylan, when you think about this weekend and the impact that you want to have when you leave, and Chris Van Waters is really giving you your props, Dylan.
Thank
He
you,
said
man.
your
I love you,
photos are
bro.
on point.
You got an admirer, friend.
Okay. Okay.
Come on, being known on the internet and in real life. Okay.
Yeah. So Dylan, what do you think for you? What's your, other than selling out your product this weekend? What's your goal for this weekend?
I think I've already reached it. Actually, I'm gonna go back to a cabin trip that Javon sponsored, and I'm not gonna go too specific, but I met someone on the trip who came to me and said they always wanted to be a model.
Oh, okay.
But
You met somebody that weekend and didn't tell me.
I saw Devon's face.
He been sitting on that.
So I told said person that if they come to the event, because I don't know if they were really sure if they were coming or not, that I would make sure I did something that they would be proud to wear and very comfortable, yet fashionable. And so we talked a couple weeks ago. I kind of forgot about this conversation we had because the mountain trip was in like January and a lot happened between. So it's like, oh, I'm coming. I can't wait to see you. Then I was like, okay. So I remembered the conversation and the passion that he had about wanting to partake in the event because I spoke so highly of it. Like I said, besides the monetary and the clout that goes with selling out your clothes before they hit the runway, I mean, that's big. Like, that's huge. It was just the feeling and the vibe he gave me about wanting to be a model. And in all of this, if I can make someone happy and smile and tap into something that someone always wanted to do but felt because of their size they could not do, like, that's the win-win right there. Regardless of if you like it or not, if it sells or not, that's not what it's about. It's about someone who wants something and wanted something from childhood, but felt like it could never be obtained. And so if I can come in and just do what I do, sitting here watching TV, throwing pictures to Devon. You like this fabric? I'll give him little snippets of what I got. He never sees the whole anything. If I can do that and make somebody happy, like that's like somebody's lifelong dream. That's huge. It's huge. It really is. And so that's my goal. Is for to see him put this outfit on and walk down that runway and smile. Yeah, that's it.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for having that kind of heart for humanity. That's very important in our community. Because a lot of times we get caught up in, the snap, crackle, and the pop, but we miss the heart part of it. And it doesn't mean that we don't have hearts, because I think we all do. And, I have thousands of stories that I could tell, but sometimes because of our, you're welcome, sweetie. You're welcome, Roderick. Because of our the defense mechanisms that we've had to create to survive in this world,
Yes.
that it sort of puts that edge on us. So thank you for having that kind of heart.
No, you're welcome.
I appreciate it. So let's talk about what to expect. We've hit on a couple of things. So what's to be expected this weekend? When is the first night of Heavy Hitters Pride? When do we wrap up? What does that look like?
So the first night will be Thursday, July the 28th. We will be at Buddy's for Trap Bingo. That is the kickoff of Heavy Hitters Pride. Friday, we will be at, for registration, we'll be at the Host Hotel. That night, we will be at Culture for the Exotic Review. That's Friday, July the 29th. And
Now, what culture is this?
I'm sorry to interrupt. So I didn't give y'all that flyer because I didn't want to do that to AFA. So I didn't put that.
What culture is this? What's that address?
It's the former 2020 at 2020 Lehman.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's Friday. Saturday, we have the breakfast. We have the luncheon at the hotel. The breakfast will be at the hotel. We break off in sessions and groups for the seminars. And then we have the legendary pool party.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We have the legendary pool party later Saturday afternoon. That's it. Yeah. Saturday night is the dungeon party.
Say more. The dungeon party. Say more. It's a safe space.
Tim, I'll take over from there.
Okay, go ahead.
Good job, little brother. So, the dungeon party is a cultivated VIP experience for our registered and invited guests only. It is an intimate moment with the dancers from Friday that are still there, and it's in the. I was going to say where it is, but it is an intimate moment, dimly lit, and it's a dungeon party. It is adults enjoying one another's dances. To be truthfully honest, the reason why this was created was to be able to get back to our VIPs who thought enough about attending our weekend to register, because you can just pay at the door, yes. But for those that were like, I really believe in what you're doing, and I'm going to make sure that I register so I'm in that number. So we celebrate them with this, because a lot of individuals enjoy dancers, but they won't tip. They won't really enjoy the dancer because it's an open setting. Whereas a private party, you can really enjoy yourself. Drink. We're not really doing food, but don't little fruit, because you don't want to eat too much. And then and enjoy the dancers. So
God.
It is the dungeon theme. So
can I chime in on that?
It's our second year. It was last year. Oh, go ahead, friend.
Let me chime in on the dungeon party last year. So I'm gonna say it like this. So myself, my best friend were there, and once again, he came down as a surprise, so he wasn't really equipped to have stuff to wear to all his events. So I pulled out my magic bag of tricks and got him a whole dungeon outfit on and blah blah blah. So we partied. We had such a good time that he got tired. So I walked into the elevator. I said, "Yeah, twin. I'm about to go. I'm gonna go to sleep." Yeah. So I walked to the elevator. I walked down the hall. Man, I did a quick change. I was. I went back. I mean, the vibe is so cool though. Where all jokes aside, it's an intimate moment where, like you said, if whatever you want to do. Some people were playing cards over to the side.
Mm-hmm.
They had a room on this side. We were just kind of just lounging, couch, cocktails. It was just so chill that I didn't want to leave. So, like I said, when I got up and left him, I'm like, I ain't going. You go into your room. Bye.
No,
I jumped back. I had this big old cape kind of ordeal. I took all that off and went back in like a little 2-piece something. And we just, it was just so cool. And like, even with the dancers, it wasn't always just about like a erotic vibe. With the dancers.
Right.
A lot of the dancers sat down. So we sat next to us. Me and Javon was sitting there talking about, I don't know what. And then the guy came, one of the dancers came and sat down with us, started talking about life. And it's just, I think, once again, just for the whole environment and like for men of size, a lot of times feeling ostracized at places, it gave them the moment to feel like Javon said, they the VIP. Like the focus is on you. And it made, I know even for me, it made me happy to see them enjoying themselves. But you can just see in the air, like, guys doing things that they normally wouldn't because they didn't have the space to do it or felt like, oh, that guy got body, he real got a 6-pack, he ain't gonna talk to me now. And it was so not that. It was so not what you think typically of all them dancers gonna be there, ain't nobody talk to me. It wasn't. Basically, the dancers were just so involved and so it was just real cool. It was just a real, real cool vibe. So outside of the dungeon aspect of it, it was what you made it to be.
Can I add to that too, Jeff, before we move forward?
Sure.
You know, I want to kind of backtrack on a little bit, then I'll come back to the dungeon. So I wanted to really emphasize on Saturday, the breakfast is a coffee and conversation piece. And it is about just, for those that get up, because I'm not a morning person, Jeff, you know that.
I am.
It is about them meeting, having breakfast, and just kind of conversing, overeating, talking about the night, talking about why they came. It is a specifically created breakfast that causes conversation. It's just not you getting up, go eat and go back to no. It leads into the sessions. So it's just the conversation piece about, again, why, how, when, or where. And then also I wanted to say in reference to the sessions themselves, just kind of ensuring that, for those that want to participate, the sessions are open to all this weekend, and they are from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. again at the Hilton Houston West Chase. Just look for the signage. It'll show you where you want to go. So if you're watching this and you want to come, by all means, please do. The beauty of Heavy Hitters Pride is that it's created for men of size, allies, and admirers. If you don't fall into either of those categories, you're still very welcome. We're all inclusive. It's created for, but it's celebrated by all. So feel that you can definitely come. Dungeon party. To me, the beauty of the pool party and the dungeon party, I thought I looked at you. Sorry. The beauty of big boy events, and I share this, and I don't want to take up too much time. The reason I fell in love with Me All Again, because when I stopped doing drag, that my life had been so wrapped up in being Yesenia that when Javon came, it was like a rebirth of a person. My brother Keeper told me about Big Boy Pride probably like in 2012, and I got to be honest, I was like, I'm not going to that fat boy stuff because I wasn't secure then. But baby, when I tell you, when I went in 2014 to Big Boy Pride in Orlando, Florida, and I looked around and I was like, oh, I see that every time someone attends Heavy Hitters, that revelation of like, oh, he got his shirt off. I mean, I never swam with my shirt off until 2014 at Big Boy Pride. And to see people just living in the moment, and even at the dungeon party to bring it back home, to see them being able to dress, because we don't go to deviant parties. We don't go to DC for those type of functions because we don't feel we belong. So that is why this weekend is so important and so beautiful, because we are creating these opportunities. And that's the beauty for me. I'm getting kind of emotional because that weekend you can be whoever you want to be. You can live your fantasy. You can be the baddest bitch walk in the room. But sometimes when you go back to reality, Monday or Tuesday, whenever you go home, that they aren't living that life. So they get to come to Houston to live and hopefully build up that esteem to not fully go into it, but to start the process of understanding. If I could do it in Houston, damn it, I could do it at home. So that is, to me, that's why I'm so passionate about heavy hitters and the HH movement and things about that stuff. So sorry, that's what I was.
No, that's amazing, and that's Javon. That's why I created these moments, these installments, is to have conversations like this and to talk about just how layered
Mhm.
our queer, and I use the term queer because the letters get fumbled up sometimes. Our queer community is. We are not, if I say this, um, we are not one size fits all.
Hmm.
We don't. We are different people. We show up in the world differently,
Mhm.
and we want to be honored, but a lot of times we don't think that we will be honored because of something: our
Mhm.
size, our skin color, our height, our penis size. Let's just talk the truth.
Mhm.
How effeminity, that whole Timothy, I think you mentioned it earlier about no facts, no films. That is something that our community has struggled with for years.
Years.
And we don't know, we're doing better, but we really haven't quite figured out how to navigate
Mhm.
those types of conversations. So I am so appreciative of the work that you all are all doing. I mean, and this is not just, hey Fred, Jermaine Ingram, this is not just for Houston. Tell us, Javon, your reach is wide. So where are some of the brothers coming from this weekend?
So I have to be extremely honest. This year, so for the week, I am honoring each board member and their. I'm just honoring each board member, right? So I honor Timothy today because in the last 2 years, because he has a reach as well, he has been able to. And sometimes, as an older person, we are afraid to kind of step back and let somebody young come in and show you how to do things differently because you're under the impression you got it right. But he has introduced us into a new way of being able to push registration and different demographics that necessarily myself or others cannot necessarily reach, but the need is there. So we have people coming all over. Like our registration was bananas this year. Like DC, of course, Atlanta, because we love Atlanta. DC, we got Chicago, we have hell, we got some Arkansas, we got some Oklahoma, my hometown, Dallas, is gonna be in the house. There are just people coming from all over the nation, which is so exciting because Houston has really embraced the movement, Heavy Hitters Pride. But just to see the growth and the other individuals being receptive and open, we have, man,
Miami, Cincinnati,
all that.
Chicago, all of
Yes,
it.
like this weekend is about to be such a situation. It's just gonna be crazy.
Right.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm excited. Let me ask Javon. I know that AFH is your primary HIV STI educator
Mhm.
and testing organization. Tell me,
Indeed, Roger.
yes, what I know we're testing this week for passes.
Yes,
So can
yes,
you give us some information for folks who are local who want to test
yes.
and get a pass?
Yes. So for individuals that are interested in testing for a pass, the pass will cover one event only. And let me be very specific. And that is either Friday, the Exotic Review at 2020 Leland Club Culture HTX. The showtime will be from 10 to 3 a.m. And also the legendary, as Tim said, pool party at the Hilton Houston West Chase at 99.99 Westheimer between 5 and 10. If you've ever been to our pool parties, baby, you missed it because we have some of everybody in there, men, women, cis, trans. It is just a beautiful experience, and come and be yourself. AFH, as Jeffrey said, has pretty much been a part of the movement Heavy Hitters Pride since inception, which I and the board are extremely appreciative of. I do want to also recognize our other sponsors for the year and those that we've had in the past. This year we have a major donator, a major underwriter. I kind of like the Derek introduced Derek Brown, our chief, excuse me, our
Chief
chief.
Development Officer.
Yeah, our chief development officer introduced me to underwriter. It sounds a little more. It sounds nice. Our other underwriters are going to be Impulse Group Houston, which I am the current vice president of. as well as the Normal Anomaly, which is my gay hubs, Ian Haddock's organization. I met a guy this year at Pride, at Splash, Pride Net. They're going to be vendoring. We have, I feel like I'm forgetting this. We have, oh God, don't kill me, because I like Pride Net, Normal Anomaly. God, I know it's a couple. They're gonna kill me. But in the past, we've had Gilead, we've had Avita, we've had a HF, and oh, and I had the flyer. I know. Anyway, so thank you, because we are nothing without you. So we are truly appreciative for you supporting the vision and the movement that is Heavy Hitters Pride. And I'm about to look it up because I don't want y'all to not come back.
So tell your audience, if they want to test for a pass for this weekend, what do they need to do?
Thank you, because I did go off on a tangent. Sorry. If you want to test for a pass, by all means, go to AIDShelp.org to set up an appointment, or come to the meet and greet Friday between 6:30 and 9 p.m. at the Host Hotel Hilton Houston West Chase. And AFH will be testing on site. They'll also be testing at Club Culture again at 2020 Leland. And you can test for a pass. There are a select few. So if you want to test for a pass, get there early so you can test for your pass. And then also that Saturday at the pool party at 99 Westheimer, which and I do want to say that the pool party is a private function. So the pool is closed off to just us. So there won't be individuals that are coming in. As you see, you can make an appointment at afhouston.org and you will get a pass for one entry.
Right. So that's if I want to test for a pass, I go to afhouston.org, and then there's on the webpage it says make an appointment, and you make an appointment for testing.
Yes.
And you can come in any day this week. I believe we start testing at 9 a.m. And you can come in from about 9 to 4 or 9 to 5, get your test and get your pass. And the other thing that's going to happen is we're going to have a really good conversation with you about PrEP. We know that now we have two different treatment opportunities when it comes to PrEP. We have the once a day pill, and there are two different pills, Truvada, Descovy, but we also have the every other month injection that's manufactured by V. So, but we want to have that conversation because what we know is when we look at the number of people that should be on PrEP, we only have about 14% of those people who are on PrEP. So, and that's just Houston numbers. I'm not talking about across the nation, but I know the numbers look similar. So 86% of the people who should be on PrEP are not on PrEP. Now, what does should be? Should be means someone who is in a serodiscordant relationship, someone who is in a relationship with someone living with HIV. Someone who has had a positive or reactive STI lab within the last 6 months. So if you've had syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia, or even Hep C within the last 6 months, that makes you an excellent candidate for PrEP because that just identifies that you're having sex without a condom. And that's okay if you want to do that. If you like raw sex, that's good. But do the thing that you should do to help protect yourself from the acquisition of HIV. Commercial sex workers. If you're a commercial sex worker, PrEP is a good opportunity for you because we know that commercial sex workers get paid more to have raw sex. So take control of how you show up in the world every day, and understand that we are here for you. At AFH, we provide you PrEP treatment if you have insurance, Medicaid, Medicare. There's a myriad of other insurances that we accept. And if you are not a person that has insurance, and we know we have a lot of people in Texas who don't have health insurance because the state of Texas does not have Medicaid expansion. That's a whole nother floor for me to stomp on. However, we will get you where you need to go to get what you need to maintain a healthy life as a HIV negative individual. But the other side of that is for persons living with HIV, or if this week you take the test and you find out you are a person living with HIV, we're going to get you connected to really good care at AFH to start addressing your viral load, getting your viral load to undetectable place, getting you social services, other social services that will address your needs. That's the work that we do at AFH. And thank you for popping that up. So if you're interested in testing, you need additional services, go to the website, afhouston.org, or you can call us at 832-234-7737. That's the first time I've been on camera that I've been able to remember that number, 832-234-7737. So
Also, AFH Prep.
what'd
So
you say?
that spells AFH Prep.
AFH Prep, 832-AFH Prep. Call that number and you can make just a myriad of different medical appointments with us for testing, treatment, and enrolling in our prep program. Wanted to say all of that because I'm going to come back to you all because I appreciate you so much for taking the time to be with us on this evening. So I'm going to start with Timothy. You are part of the executive board of is it HH2 or is it Heavy Hitters Pride?
Heavy Hitters Pride.
It's Heavy Hitters Pride. Okay, so you are a part of the board. If you had to recruit a new board member, ding ding ding, what would you say would be the most important thing that someone who's interested in being on the board would need to know about Heavy Hitters Pride?
Jeffrey, that is a great.
And you are in front of the camera. We're all just waiting on you to answer.
That is a great question. I would want you to know a little bit of Heavy Hitters Pride history. That is the most important thing, I would say, for me. Know the history and also just be open-minded, especially when it comes to presenting things with to the board. Please be open-minded. Be open-minded and know the history of Heavy Hitters Pride. Because it'll help. It'll most definitely help you.
Excellent. Thank you, Timothy. Dylan.
Yes, sir.
Tell me this as we're closing out. When you see someone wearing your product, your brand, what does that do for you?
It just makes me feel included. Like I mentioned earlier, the kids can be very, very critical about what they wear, how they wear it, and where it came from. I mean, we are in a very label-oriented society where everybody wants to have this splashed across their chest and that, and them having the means to obtain it, they can go to a lot of outlets to get it. But for someone to come to me with an idea and or trust me even more with, hey, I know you can do this because I've seen that, but I want this. It's very rewarding. It's very rewarding. Yeah, you can't even put a price tag on it, honestly. This is like I said, somebody come with, I'm going to this event, and you can do what you want. I love those because it's scary in a way, but it's kind of like, okay, this person is really trusting me to do whatever I want. And I'm good. My record is pretty good right now with that. So yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Excellent. Are you bringing your sewing machine with you to Houston this weekend?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I have one in my VIP suite waiting.
Yes.
Thanks, Javon.
You're
I
welcome.
love it. I love it. So, Miss DeRay, what should we expect from you this weekend, Madam First Lady?
Um, no expectations. I'm
Oh no, we have expectations because you are the first.
well, I'm sorry, those are yours, not mine.
We want to see you in your grandeur and your glory.
It's not about grandeur and glory for me. Let me start there. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. Um, my role is more of servitude. I am an entertainer. I am the featured entertainer of all the events, as I am the first lady. But it's still not about me. It's about everyone and our guest, and I say collectively our guest, feeling welcome, feeling comfortable, feeling safe, and having a pleasant experience that they take away from this. Um, when it's time for me to entertain, I will do my very best, and that's one of the things that got me to where I'm at because they were pleased with what I brought every time that I've come. So my thing is, please have no expectations other than me to treat you as I'd want to be treated. Have the expectation that I will welcome you from my heart and that I'm sincere in all that I do. When I go on stage, it's my artistry and whatever I do, I prepare things that I would hope the masses will enjoy. But ultimately, my goal as the first lady for me, as I look into it, um, it's again about our guests, and I am an extension and a representation of these men that thought enough of me to bestow a title that is related, of course, to our religion, to our faith, or whatever the case may be. But outside of that, when I look at what a first lady should do, she should be gracious, she should be accommodating, accessible, and above all, gracious in all that she does. So, if those are your expectations, then those you will get. Anything other than that, good luck.
And let me tell you, because I don't want, I want you to understand that what you just said is so deeply amazing.
Mhm.
That is grand
Mhm.
and that is glorious because that's not what people see
Right.
when they see our community.
Mhm.
That's not that I the experience that I had with the Studio 13 reunion folks a couple weeks ago. I had never experienced Studio 13. I told them I was at Bible school back in 1984 and 85. So I missed all of that. But they kept saying family,
Mhm.
and it kept saying a safe space, and it kept saying nurturing. Know that the outside world and some of us that are in the world doesn't see that when they think of us.
Mhm.
So I want you to know that you are right on point, and that is, well, I'm gonna pass through that this weekend. That's what I'm gonna expect. And that is the mindset that manifests healing in our community. So thank you for having that mindset. Thank you. Mr. Davenport, you are the leader of the team. It is a team, but you are the leader. When you wake up Monday morning,
Mm.
what is it that you want to exhale and say, it happened?
Oh, that's yeah. Well, I am always really intentional, and thank you for acknowledging the leadership. Um, I think one thing that I have learned as I have grown in serving as president of Heavy Hitters Pride is that the leadership means absolutely nothing without a developing team a receptive team, and a hardworking team. So on Monday, because typically we hang out on Monday and we hang out by the pool on Monday, right? We hang out by the pool and we may order chicken or something, but it's just us enjoying each other on Monday. But on Monday, when I wake up, I just want to be able to look at my brothers and be like, damn, y'all, we did it again. Like we did it. It was an amazing weekend. We're always open to critique and criticism to ensure that we can do it bigger, better, and heavier. I just want to be, and not I want to be, I plan on just being fulfilled Monday, like year 7 down. Okay, y'all, it's time to go start playing the winter weekend. You know, as Dylan mentioned, we did a cabin trip last year because Heavy Hitters Pride is growing. And we have been really respectful of other organizations to not necessarily lean into their territory or into their interests. But as we're going into year 8, there's enough for everybody. And there are so many people that can benefit from the wonderful work that all of us do and being able to take what we do locally and hopefully nationally, if not internationally. So on Monday, when I start my crazy again with my brothers, and I'm saying, okay, y'all, we're going to Alabama, you know, or we're going to Oklahoma, or we're going back to Tennessee, or, you know, let's go to Paris. I mean, whatever on Monday, and I start my crazy. I just want the brothers to still be receptive, and I plan on being fulfilled and knowing that the work was done. And then, again, it's a labor of love, and that it hopefully, and this is very cliche-ish, but one person really took something away from the weekend that they can now apply to their daily life and be like, man, I got my life this weekend, and I can go home and walk in this same moment that I felt in Houston. Because that's what happened with me. When I went to Orlando, I always give big props to BBP, because when I went to BBP, I came back changed. I came back because I had lived in Yesenia for years. So I didn't know what was going to happen when I stopped performing. But when I finally was like, okay, yeah, you're a big boy going down to BBP, and I got all of that, and it came back to Houston with me, I was like, baby, listen, I could do this at home. So if it's just one person that can take what they felt in the moment there at home, we have been successful in what we planned to do, which is to rewrite the narrative of inclusion for the man of size. Yes.
That's it. Rewrite the narrative for inclusion for the man of size. You heard that tonight.
Okay.
My friends, my tribe, ladies and gentlemen, cousins, brothers and sisters, and siblings, and theys, and all of us. And that's the work that we have to do. That's the work that's so very important to save our very souls, is when we start rewriting history, when we start deconstructing the stuff that has been killing us in order to reconstruct that which helps us to be healthy and helps us to grow. So much appreciated. Look, y'all kick off Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday all day and evening and night, Sunday you close out. Look, some of the folks, and Javon knows that some of the folks that work call me Uncle Jeffrey. Uncle Jeffrey says, have great fun and be very careful, because we are dealing with a pandemic and we are now in the midst of a health emergency. So have fun, but be careful. Be careful. Value your souls and value your bodies. And we will see you. Don't forget, go to afhouston.org to schedule your appointment for testing this week for a pass this weekend. We'll see you out at the events over the weekend. And I just already know it's going to be absolutely amazing.
Jeffrey, can I also add real quickly before we go?
Yeah.
We can the list of events can be found at heavyhitterspride.com. Again, heavyhitterspride.com, as well as Instagram, Heavy Hitters Pride, Twitter, the HH Pride, as well as yeah, that's it.
Facebook.
Heavyhitterspride.com. I'm sorry, Tim, go ahead.
Facebook.
Facebook group, our Facebook group. Thank you. Heavy Hitters Pride, where every pound has a story. So that's where you can find all of your information for the weekend.
I love it. Does anyone else have any closing remarks?
See y'all
That
soon.
sounded so churchy. I love all of you. Have a great, great evening. And we look forward to this magnificent weekend that you've been planning since last year.
All right.
Take care. For those of you who are coming to
Bye.
see, safe travels.
All right.
Be safe. See y'all soon.
And we're done.